Jesus changes water into wine, part 4 of 4, John 2:11 through 12. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, they went down to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples. There they stayed for a few days. I made this point previously that it's one thing to claim to have cured somebody of a mental disorder. It's another thing entirely to have claimed to have cured them of like a horrible skin disease, for instance. One of those can be faked, the other cannot. This changing of water into wine was a miracle and was certified as such by the blind testimony of the master of the banquet and presumably by the hundreds of wedding guests that were there. Don't forget that we had at least 120 gallons of this wine created after the guests were already buzzing. Booze had a job to do with this wedding, and it was clearly on the downhill side of that job. So, hundreds of people. Ask yourself what happened to those folks after the wedding and they recovered from their hangovers. This was Cana, a small town in the region of Galilee where news would have spread rapidly. And since Cana was not that big, presumably many of the wedding guests would have been dispersed throughout the Galilean region and be present when Jesus would later show up in places like Bethsaida, Nain, and Capernaum here. Or is it Capernaum? My point is that if Jesus was a fraudster and a liar, there would have been no shortage of people to call his bluff. Nobody did that. In fact, the opposite happened. People will flock to him. I know believing in miracles seems a little crazy, but you can't deny that Jesus wasn't hiding from anyone. What we have here in the story of Jesus changing water into wine is a come and taste to add to the come and see we saw in the previous chapter.